So in this video, we're going to look at how do we find the slope when we only know 2 points. And I don't want to graph. So let's say, for example, you have the points. Let's say you have 4, 20 is 1 point, and your other point is 7, 14. And I could make a picture of a graph, and I could graph them, and I could count. Or I can do it with a way of just using their pattern. And so what I do, and what we learned the other day, is I make a table of x and y. In my first one, I have 4 for x and 20 for y. In the second one, I have 7 for x and 14 for y. And then I look for their differences, or how did I do that? So if I start at 20 and I go to 14, I'm going down because 14 is smaller. And then I have to figure out how many I go down. Well, 20 minus 14 is 6. So I went down 6. And on this side, I went from 4 to 7. That's bigger. 7 is bigger than 4. So I went up. And how many did I go up? Well, from 4 to 7 is 3, because 7 minus 4 is 3. And to get our slope, just like we have been doing, I have to take the y, -6, divided by the x, which is 3. And this is one that I can simplify. So -6 divided by 3 is -2. And I can just leave that. My slope is -2, so my line would be going negative. It's falling down. Okay, let's look at another one. Let's say that I have the points -3, -2, and how about just +3 and 2? So again, I could draw a picture of a graph, but I don't want to. Instead, I'm going to make a table. And in this one, I put -3 for x, and for y, I have -2. And my second point is 3 and +2. Now we got to think a little bit. Think of the pattern. If I go from -2 to +2, I went up. 2 is bigger. How many bigger is it? Well, if you count that out, it's 4 bigger. Because you would have -1, you start at -2, so you'd have -1, 0, 1, 2, which is 4 if I'm counting. Then on the x values, I went from -3 to +3. +3 is bigger than -3, so it's going to be plus because it went up. My value went up. How many did it go up? Well, from -3 to +3, I went up 6. Now let's talk about our slope. So my slope is going to be the y, which is 4, over the x, which is 6. And this one is special. Even though it's a fraction, I can simplify or reduce. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So my slope is 2/3. Okay, let's try another one. Let's say we have the point 0, 2 and 2, -1. So I make my table, x and y. So my first x is 0 and my y is 2. My next x is 2 and my y is -1. Well, I start here at 2. If I go from 2 to -1, it got smaller. So it's going to be negative because -1 is smaller than 2. How many places is that? That would be 3 places. So it's -3. And if I start at 0 and I go to 2, I got bigger. I got bigger by 2. So bigger by 2. So my slope is going to be the y, which is negative 3 divided by positive 2. And if I use my calculator, if I put in, I don't know where the negative button is here, 3 negative divided by 2. Do you see how I get a decimal? I don't want that, so just leave this. And I cannot simplify. All right, let's try one more. Let's say I have negative 1 and positive 2, and then positive 1 and positive 2. So I'm going to make my table, x and y. I have negative 1, positive 2, positive 1, positive 2. So look at your pattern. Here is 0. Nothing happened. It's flat. Nothing happened. Here we went up. And if I start at negative 1 and I go to positive 1, that means I'm going to go up 2. So my slope is going to be 0 divided by 2. Well, if you have 0 on the top of any fraction, that's going to equal 0. Okay, so now you're going to go back in and answer the questions. You may need to get some scratch paper to write on to help you so you have some room. So please get some scratch paper as well. Have a great day. Finish all your assignments. I will see you next class.